Hello everyone, my name is Aaryn and today I'm going to be reviewing the last book in the Truly Devious series, The Hand on the Wall. I love this series with all my heart. I read Truly Devious back in April, I believe, and I think I read The Vanishing Stair in like June or July-ish, and that was my baby. Literally, I was at the bookstore today and I just saw it and I squat down and I held that sucker up. And my friend said, hold on, just hold that pose for me. Anywho, that's not what today's video is about. Today's video is about me reviewing this wonderful, beautiful, awesome book. So there are my thoughts. Goodbye. And at the same time, you know, just ranting, just being like, OMG, I can't believe that happened. So, yeah, are we gonna be intellectual? In some instances, but for the most part, we're just fangirling. So, yeah. If you do not know and you're just here to figure out like, hey, what is this? I'm gonna briefly explain Truly Devious. So it follows a girl named Stevie Bell and she is obsessed with true crime. It's her thing, it's her jam, and she is notably obsessed with the Ellingham family murders and kidnappings. It's called the crime of the century and nobody has been able to solve it, but Stevie feels like she can, and it's pretty much like what's driving her to be a detective and fuels her passion. It just so happens that the Ellingham family was rich and famous and very generous, which is the only reason why people probably cared about their stuff. If we're being honest, if they were poor, nobody would care. But they're rich, and they started an academy that's made for these teenagers that have these very like niche passions and talents, and the point of it is pretty much like hone them and make them even greater and just provide them like the classes and the materials to really like embrace their needs and stuff like that. Is that making any sense? Is this clicking for you? I hope it is. So Stevie applies one day on a whim, like, oh, I probably won't get in, and then she does because she's great and yay! And so she's now at Ellingham Academy, which was at one point the Ellingham family home, and is considered to be a very, very important part in terms of figuring out what happened to that family almost 100 years ago. She's finally there and she's giving like the tools and the resources to figure out this case. But sadly, another murder takes place, so Stevie is trying to figure out the murder of the past and the murder of the present and hopefully connect the dots that are floating between the two, and that is Truly Devious. So this is the last book in the series, so if you guys did not know what that was about, you should probably leave. Because this is going to be very spoilery very quickly, okay? Honestly, I wish I could give you guys a non-spoilery review, but I cannot. I suck. I suck. I guess the most I could say right now is that Homegirl's writing. What's Homegirl's name? What's her name? What's her name? Maureen Johnson. That's Homegirl. We love her. Her writing is just as great in this book. One of the things I love about Maureen Johnson is she has a way of making like Stevie's thoughts and feelings feel like they are my own. I just feel so inserted into her stories because there are just certain things that you read, and when you read them, you're reading them. For example, if you guys have ever taken any test ever where there's like a reading section, you're reading it and you're understanding it, but you're not there with the characters and you're not feeling what they're feeling and you're not vividly imagining what they're seeing. But with Maureen Johnson, that's always the case. And she has these scenes that are just so vivid to me and like just so lively that I feel like I'm there. And the crazy thing about that and the amazing thing about that is that this is a thriller and a mystery. So can you imagine just like something hitting the fan and you feel like you're there? Like there's a certain scene that I look at too because it's really spoilery in this book that I felt like I was about to be murdered. Like literally I had to go check my window like Then I went and I looked out my hallway like nobody's out there. Then I went and I checked my door because sometimes people be stupid and leave their doors unlocked. Luckily that was not the case. I was fine, I was safe. I think so. This could be a setup, you know, could be trapped in someone's mansion. As if. Also, would that be my worst nightmare? Because I do want to be a sugar baby. If you guys did not know, taking applications now to be my sugar daddy. Anywho, that's all I can tell you non-spoilery, folks. I apologize, I truly do. I just want to like talk about what I want to talk about, and I apologize, but come back. I love your presence here. I'll see you next time, little cutie. Bye. Okay, so I feel like I should touch on that scene I was talking about, and I'm also assuming that you guys have read the novel. So let me just say that that scene where Stevie's in her room the first night after they do this hideout and they're just stuck at Ellingham in the blizzard, and she feels somebody watching her through her window, and she goes and she checks it and there's nobody there. And then Maureen Johnson says that she didn't see the figure that stepped back out from behind a tree. That was the scariest thing I've ever read in my life. I genuinely believe that we've all been there where we just feel like somebody's watching us and we just don't understand like why we're feeling that way. So we go and like we lock our doors, we check under our bed, we check our closets, and obviously no one's there. But to know that in this instance somebody was there, that was terrifying. And just like, who is here? Just the process of Stevie going to being okay, I suppose, to all of a sudden just feeling like someone's watching her was scary. So, congrats, Maureen Johnson. You literally terrified the crap out of me. Okay, I did say I love this book, but I actually have 2 issues. So, here we go. So number 1, I have never been able to predict anything that literally happened in this series. However, I'm very annoyed to say that I predict Call Me Charles being the murderer here, which sucks because I suppose on one hand, Maureen Johnson did what she was supposed to do, and she laid the foundation for her killer and for the series and where it was going, because I would prefer that and prefer predicting that than having some rando like Janelle be the murderer and nothing hinting at that throughout the entirety of the trilogy. That being said, it sucks when you always have this element of surprise that's given to you, such as George, I was gonna say George Michael. Such as George Marsh being the one that caused everything that happened to Alice and Iris. And once Stevie pretty much told me like, hey, you just take the stair away from staircase. Boom, who's eyes on the case? A detective. I was shocked. But that line also terrified me, because for a second I thought, it's not Larry. Larry who has access to everything and everyone. It can't be Larry. Why would it be Larry? But he's kind of a detective, right? So yeah, not Larry. Thank God. We love Larry. Well, he showed up at the end like, hey, that's my daughter. That's my adopted dummy. You can't hurt her. Yes, yes, hello, Larry, we love you, we stand. So to not have that when it's like, okay, it was Call Me Charles who did all this, I was upset, to say the least. Like I said, I'm not mad about it. It did not change my rating because either way, I was still shocked and concerned every step of the way until the end. So it's like, whatever. But I wish I could have gasped, or I wish I could have been like, that's gasping. I wish I could have thrown the book across the room in a very dramatic manner and lay on my bed like, but I didn't get that, and that sucks. So Maureen Johnson, you set the foundation too much. As soon as they said, what about the reward money? I was like, okay, it's someone at the school, isn't it? But I thought maybe Call Me Charles was like saving it for the school and just hoping that no one found Alice's body, therefore the school would just get the money. But instead homeboy was trying to get the school closed down. Then he claims the money because he must have lived that rich life. Call Me Charles. Call Me Charles gonna be our sugar daddy. Solved. Here's what I'm mad about. I'm mad because how do you have Larry? How do you have David? How do you have Miss Quinn? And how do you have Stevie? And Nate? And Janelle? And just all these really smart people who are around Call Me Charles after it has come to light that he's the one behind all these murders. These intellectual people, especially Stevie and Larry, who have kind of been in this boat, I know about this boat, and should expect certain things to arrive from this boat, you know? How do you have all these people in one location with a murderer and no one thinks we should tie him up? Explain. I'm angry about it. I'm angry that he was able to escape in the first place. I'm angry just about the how it happened. Literally, they tied him up and he found some magical, miraculous way that was obviously explained well because we have standards to get himself out of this little knot and then escape. I would be okay with that. But no, he just wasn't tied up in the first place. And I'm disappointed. I feel like that's stupid. Why did nobody think to do that? I thought to do that. Literally, when Larry was like, let's go check his office, I thought, okay, let's tie him up in case he wants to shove somebody and kill them down the stairs. Is that very dramatic? Yes, but I was thinking like a cop, a detective. So how come the actual cop and detective weren't thinking about stuff like that? I'm flipped out about it. I think it's stupid. I feel like that is not something that their characters would do. But then again, I didn't write them. So can I really say that? I'm going to, whatever. You know what else I'm gonna say? That I feel like can get me in trouble, but that's okay. I feel like we should acknowledge the fact that Edward King is just a stand-in for Donald Trump. I mean, we know it. We can say it. It should be acknowledged, right? Let's talk about it. Let's talk about that. Actually, I have nothing to say about that, other than the fact that David blowing up his stupid racist billboard. My baby. Also, I ship David and Stevie. Very unpopular opinion, but I love them. They make my heart happy. I know that David can be very petty and annoying. That being said, he is even more petty and annoying in this book in particular, but I've shipped them since The Vanishing Stair. In Truly Devious, I thought it was kind of odd that that was where Maureen Johnson went with Stevie's love life because, you know, Nate's right there and we'll get to him because we love Nate. But I thought, I'll just go with the flow. I don't really care how this goes. But then The Vanishing Stair happened and he just put himself on the line. So when stuff hits the fan and David got upset, I wasn't mad at him. He has every reason to be mad. Like, I saw some people that were upset because David was heartbroken, and it's like, guys, are you being serious? Was him paying people to just punch him in the face necessary on any account? Probably not. But, you know, live your life how you want to live it. But throughout this book, I was rooting for them to get back together. And so when David told Stevie to leave, when she came up to his room, I wanted to cry. And, you know, then she went down with Hunter. And for a second, I thought that was going to be a thing. And thank God it was not. Because, you know, I want David and Stevie to be a thing. But I was also happy for Stevie. Because Hunter provided her with, like, this peace of mind that she had not had for a while. And one of my favorite scenes in this book was when Stevie and David are both walking to their rooms and Stevie's like, are you following me? And David's like, no, I'm going to my room. Yada yada yada, whatever. And he's like, you seem like you had a fun night. And Stevie says to him, not everything is about you, and slams the door in his face. I screamed, I clapped, I was so proud of her. Because that being said, what we're not going to do is have this pity party for David who just turned her away hours before. You can't pretty much tell me to not talk to you, then get mad at me when another guy shows me an ounce of attention. So how about you get out my face, David? Goodbye. See you later. Hit the high road, Jack. But don't do that again. Because when he hits the high road, we're all just kind of scared. But now, moving on. The flashbacks in this book. You know, at first when I started thinking about the fact that there were going to be flashbacks in this book too, I wasn't sure how I was going to feel about them. There was of course still the question of what happened to Alice. But we had just figured out that George Marsh was truly devious and he was the one behind everything that happened to them for the most part. So it was like, the flashbacks, they're gonna be boring. I'm not really interested in them anymore. But the first thing Maureen Johnson tells us in this novel is, oh yeah, Alice, she was adopted. Okay. And that just sets the tone of all the flashbacks. All of them are shocking. All of them are needed. All of them are interesting. And I love that. She's a queen. And Maureen Johnson just made this case that seemed closed in this timeline that we just seem to be steering away from completely. Still be open and still be living and thriving. George Marsh's journey to find Alice and figuring out that, oh yeah, I'm her father was one of the saddest things to me. Because, oh my god, Alice, words cannot describe how much I pity that little girl. In my head, I was imagining her being like 7, you know, maybe even 9. So when it was brought to my attention in the book that she's actually 3, I started to cry. Because she's 3. She just learned how to start saying sentences coherently. And to know that her life and her story is literally just going to be the fact that she was kidnapped and then died. That's tragic. That's tragic. And I started to cry even more when Stevie was acknowledging, like, hey, everything that's happened in the past and today surrounds this little girl and surrounds money. It's always just about money. And to notice what she died for, that sucks. It really sucks. And the measles? When I first read that, I was like, you have to be kidding me. I'm not mad about it at all. I'm actually kind of happy. Not that that happened to her, but like that's how it happened at the same time. Because anything else would have been too much. And the fact that she died from an illness that she could have been treated for if she was at home kind of heightens like the sadness surrounding George Marsh and just her story in general. So I'm not mad about that. It was just like the measles. The measles. But let me tell you, towards the end, I had a nah moment, okay? And I feel like everybody else probably had it too. When you read or you heard, if you listened to an audiobook like me, that Alice's DNA did not match Alice's DNA, and you were just like, what the heck? Until you remember that she was adopted. Also, I love Stevie. She literally just told Nate, like, oh yeah, you know, she was adopted, right? And Nate's like, what are you talking about? She's so brilliant and her mind, and she's so sweet and wholesome, and I'm rooting for her. She's thriving. They're all thriving, and I'm so happy for them. And her seeing the moose made me so happy. And my face, my heart, when it was all over, I went to cry. I really went to cry because it's just so wholesome. You know, it's so wholesome. Oh, yeah. Nate. Okay, being very annoying right now. I'm sorry. I just want Nate to have his own book. It can be about anything. It can just be about him trying to finish this novel. Literally, all of this could just be him typing away and then deleting, then having an existential crisis, then going back to his computer and trying again. Then the same thing happens. I'll be okay with that. But I just wanted to acknowledge that Nate is, number one, Stevie's best friend. I love Janelle. She's fine. That's not her best friend. Nate is right there. Nate has been doing everything that he is supposed to be doing for her. And he's like her greatest soundboard. And he believes in her. And like they all kind of believe in her. But like Nate is like believes in her. And I love him. And I don't really ship them crazy. But I'm happy to just have a completely platonic YA male and female relationship. It can happen. It's a thing. We can say that. It's fine. So yeah, one thing I love about this book is how the eeriness and the scariness of Ellingham Academy is elevated through the freaking snow. You're having us solve a murder mystery during a blizzard. Genius. Her mind. And I loved it. So you're telling me we're going to be stuck on a mountain in the woods when it's snowing. Snow that you can barely walk through. With a murderer who kind of just kills everybody. And now we know it's watching Stevie through a window. I mean, okay. Other than that, I really don't have anything to say. I do have like some really random notes. One of my notes is just about Iris, and it says, oh yeah, I was snorting coke, question mark, question mark, question mark, shook, in all caps, because I was shook. You know, like, oh, you know, rich people just snort coke. That was just such a random piece of information. I actually don't understand why we got that, other than for shock value. I'm not mad about it. It didn't really interfere with our plot or anything, but okay. I also said me liking George Marsh in the end. Shook in all caps again. David saying, we love the immigrants, F y'all. Then I said, he's dynamite. Ha ha. David telling Steve they're gonna go to Disneyland after I just thought about them going to Disneyland in the future together. Chef's kiss. Oh, and then lastly I have a note that's very relevant and I think should close off our little book talk here. And it's me talking about Stevie. And it's not anything bad at all. It's actually all very good. And that's the fact that she will always be a YA character that I admire. because as someone who just described feeling what she's feeling and having similar thoughts to her and thinking and believing that I'm right by her side when stuff hits the fan, she always has this willingness to push through it and do what she has to do. And she always acknowledges like the fact that this is scary or this is risky, but she just does it anyways. She acknowledged the fact that it's scary going to look into a wall and seeing a little girl's corpse, but she did it anyways because she had to. She travels through tunnels knowing that she could get stuck or could die because she has to do it to do what she set out to do. And David literally told her, like, you set out to do the impossible and then you did it, and that's why I like you. And that's why I like her too. She is one of the most awesome female characters I've read. She is one of the strongest female characters I've ever read. Just characters in general. Not even female. Take off the female. She's awesome. And I love her. And I don't have anything else to say about that. So yeah, I love this series with all my heart. The Hand on the Wall is a 5 out of 5 star book for me, if you guys could not tell. I probably should have said that at the beginning, and I'm really sorry. But yeah, I just can't wait to reread it when I've forgotten everything and just be ranting and happy about it all over again. So I want to say thank you so much for watching this book talk. Thank you, Maureen Johnson, for gifting us with this series. If you guys have any of your own thoughts and opinions down below that you want to share, feel free to share them. Book talks are meant for talking, and we should really chat about it and have that discussion. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you dislike this video, I apologize for taking up your time. And if you guys are interested in more of my videos, I do have tons to choose from. So maybe give me a subscribe, maybe check those out. Yeah, hate asking for that, but I'm a YouTuber, so I kind of have to in order to, you know, put my stuff. But I hope to see you guys next time. I love you all so much, and yeah, peace. Stay truly devious. Alright, bye. So, you know, been forever since I did a book talk, but that wasn't too bad, at least I hope not. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna just leave y'all. I talked your ears off, so I'm sorry. But love you. See ya. Bye.